Alright, so I hate starting this video up in the truck, but it's where we gotta begin at. I'm on my way to go see Shannon. We haven't seen Shannon since we were doing the landscape work. Shannon has not been working all that much, obviously, with everything that's going on. You know, nobody's really working all that much. But Shannon reached out to me yesterday, and she's got something that she wants to share with us, and something that she's pretty passionate about. And what that is raising awareness for what is going on up inside of women's prisons here in the state of Virginia. One prison in particular where Shannon served a good amount of her time at. And the reason why this is important to her is because not only she served time there, she also has friends of hers who are still locked up right now, sending her emails telling her how bad the conditions are up in these prisons. And without question, the conditions in any prisons, any jails right now, they're horrible. Cook County has the highest per capita case of positive cases of coronavirus, over 400 positive cases in that particular jail, and pretty much everywhere in the country is dealing with this sickness. Shannon reached out to me yesterday asking me if there was anybody that I knew outside of the ACLU and also outside of local news who we could potentially reach out to in an effort to try to get, as she worded it, these girls some help. And I told Shannon, you know, I don't have any connections. All I've got is a platform where we can address this situation and possibly bring more exposure to a situation that, you know, may or may not be getting all that much exposure and attention as it is. So we're gonna go meet with Shannon, we're gonna go talk with her, and let's see what's going on up inside of these women's prison and what these girls are hitting Shannon up and saying it's like right now during this current crisis that is plaguing the entire world damn near. And maybe this will cause people to want to become more proactive and possibly reach out to local Department of Corrections in their own states and say, hey, you know, what are you guys doing to protect these prisoners? Hello.
Hi.
Hey, stranger.
How are you?
Doing good. How about yourself?
I'm here. I've been trying to write this stupid paper and I wrote so much and then I accidentally went back and lost everything. So I got smart this time and I'm writing it in Word so I don't lose it.
Look at you doing schoolwork.
I'm trying.
You're in college now.
I am, man. And I gotta tell you, I hate this class. I hate this specific class.
Well, what's the class?
It's an art class and I absolutely hate it.
Shannon, you reached out to me yesterday and you asked me if, you know, there was anybody I knew who could possibly help get some help for a situation that you made me aware of yesterday. And let's talk a little bit about that. What is going on?
Okay, so I've gotten some emails and some other people have sent me emails from people that they've gotten also. And you already know that situation in a prison right now is awful. So at the prison that I was at, some of the emails that we're getting are saying things like, okay, they're only getting showers every 72 hours, which, you know, is pretty much DOC policy on lockdown. But, you know, I mean, with this virus, you'd think that they would want people practicing good hygiene to try to keep it from spreading. There was one lady who wasn't able to use the phone. The warden had promised her that they would get a phone call. At the time that she wrote the emails to the person, they still hadn't been able to access the phone.
Are they getting the free phone calls and free emails?
I don't know that they're free, but they're definitely allowed on the kiosk and the phone, I think for 5 minutes each day or something to that effect.
5 minutes?
5 minutes, right. So their time is completely limited. Of course, the doors are locked. Some of them say the banging is going on for hours at nighttime on night shift. They can't get out to use the bathroom. You know, they're being made to wait, you know, a long time in between being able to use the bathroom again, even on day shift.
All right, hold on. We got to stop right there because that's a really important point to all of this.
Yeah, and I've got some emails too I can pull up.
All right. What do you mean they can't use the bathroom? They're locked down. Are you telling me there's not a bathroom in the cell or room that they're locked in?
Right, so the cells there are not wet. So there's no toilet in there, there's no sink in there. I'm not sure if they're even being allowed access to canteen to like get drinks or whatever in there. So I don't know what the situation with that is.
So they don't even have water to drink. There's not even a sink in there.
There's not even a sink in there. So they can't even, you know, unless the COs open the door, which, you know, some of them could care less if you get out or whatever, they're not able to have access to any of this stuff.
And where is this taking place at? This is a prison where you serve time at.
Yeah, it's Virginia Correctional Center for Women. Now, as far as I know, there was a lawsuit filed a few years back by the people at Fluvanna because they were having the same problem. They were literally using peanut butter jars, cups, whatever, to go to the bathroom because they couldn't get out. Now, what I was heard, it's kind of inmate.com, was that Fluvanna wasn't even allowed to lock the doors anymore. Now, whether that's true, I don't know, but Virginia Correctional Center for Women definitely does not follow that policy. So even when I was there, I mean, there was pretty much almost a riot on the hall that I was on because they had locked us down. The CO was refusing to open any of the doors. I mean, the banging, the screaming was going on forever until they finally got sergeants and stuff like that up there. But, I mean, like, can you imagine right now, like, first of all, they can't barely get access to a phone to call their family. They're worried about their families. They're worried about catching this virus that's definitely inside this prison.
How many confirmed cases have you heard about?
I think it's 12 cases at that particular prison, but I'm not positive. I'd have to go back and reread it. I know one of them was a contract nurse, and one of them was an officer in training that had brought it into the facility, is what the theory is. But there are several people in medical that are on quarantine that have definitely been diagnosed with it. Now, you already know how stuff spreads and how they move people around in prisons. I know that there are some people having a fit because they're taking people from the medical halls and moving them onto the regular halls, meaning that if they were exposed to it on the medical hall, it's now going to be on their hall. So these people are freaking out about that. But my main thing too is, like, you know how they feed you during a lockdown. Like, you're lucky to get the one hot meal a day. They're saying that they're not serving common fare at all, so anybody who eats a special or a restricted diet is not getting what they're supposed to have. A lot of times breakfast will be like a scoop of peanut butter and a cereal bar or something. So some of them feel like they're actually getting starved in there too. So I can only imagine, because some of the food we got on lockdown there was awful.
And you've been through lockdown at this particular prison, so you're familiar with, you know, with what these women are saying. It's easier for you to know that it's true because you've been through it.
I've been through it, yeah. I mean, it's definitely what's going on there. And it's crazy, and I don't know if they're making any changes to it, but, you know, if you're locked down in a cell, you're supposed to have an hour outside of that cell a day, whether it's rec, if weather permits, or if the rec room, have access to something so that you're not confined to that cell completely.
How many women are in these dry cells? Is it a two-person?
It's two-person, right. So I guess they kind of got together and families were calling or writing, and they knew that they were not actually getting the rec that they were saying they were getting, so now they're allowed to go to rec twice a week for 1 hour. Other than that, they're locked in their rooms. So, I mean, the situation there is just awful.
Well, this is a situation that's near and dear to your heart because not only did you serve time here, you've got friends who are at this facility who have been reaching out to you and sharing what's going on there.
Right.
You know, would you be willing to share any of what they're saying? We don't have to put their names in this,
yeah,
but...
I mean, I can read some of the emails if I can pull them up. First, it was a nurse. As far as they're saying, 5 people here have it. The nurse, an OIT, and 3 inmates, which has led to us being on lockdown since Tuesday. Today's the first day we were able to get out and take showers. We only get one every 72 hours. We're still waiting to see about phone calls. The warden said we would be able to get at least one, but so far that hasn't happened. Both buildings 4 and 6 had to be completely fumigated from top to bottom, so at 2 a.m. we were sitting in 4 basement waiting for them to finish. We had to strip everything off our beds, put everything we owned into lockers or drawer, and anything that didn't fit was tossed. All right, here's another one. We're on lockdown because several inmates and staff have tested positive, staff and a contractor. It's been so crazy. We're only getting showered every 3 days, phone once a day, kiosk every other day, locking doors and not letting us out to use the bathroom for up to 2 hours. When I say it's total chaos, that's an understatement for real. I'm about to lose my mind. We're getting a sandwich, well, a roll and either meat or peanut butter for dinner. Lunch is the only hot meal we've been getting, but nothing's really worth eating. Breakfast the last 2 days has been peanut butter or a boiled egg with a fruit bar.
That's not even a meal. It's
not a meal, right? So it's, I mean, like, peanut butter and a cereal bar is probably giving you the calories that they have to give these people. But can you imagine, like, if you don't have access to canteen now, I don't know whether they do or not, or even if you don't, now they're not working, so a lot of them are going to be able to eat anyway, especially if they don't have people sending money in. But to be locked in a cell all day, first of all, you know, you're going to want to eat because you're just sitting there doing nothing. Some of them probably don't even have TVs or anything to do while they're in these cells. And then on top of it, they feel like they're being starved. So it's like, Yeah, I can't imagine being in there right now at all.
You know, again, you reached out to me about this and you wanted to try to raise awareness and get attention to this. You know, what would be, and I want to throw this in here too, you know, you're kind of becoming like this advocate, Shannon. You're an advocate for these women who are in prison, and that's really a awesome thing to see you becoming. You're keeping in contact with them. You've got your ear to the street, or at least to the prison, and you're hearing firsthand what's going on in there.
Right. I mean, they're saying in this one, they're saying they don't even have access to mental health. Like, this person sees a counselor and they don't have access to that. So she said a lot of people are really having problems like with depression, stuff like that, and they just don't have access to the people that they need to have access to. And I know a couple of people have said they've reached out to the warden, and the warden just kind of responds, my only, his only concern is to keep them safe. So he doesn't basically care if they get out of the cells, have mental health, get to go outside, you know what I mean? He's just basically keeping them locked down.
What, you told me that you had reached out to somebody as well.
I did. I've written the ACLU, I've written the Department of Corrections, I've written Wavy News 10, like I've written several places. Now whether or not anybody does anything about it, I don't know, but at least I can try. Has
anybody reached back out to you?
No, not yet. Not yet. I haven't heard from anybody other than like where they say that they got your email. So, I mean, and I'm sure there's plenty of people writing about a lot of things right now, so for them to even respond would probably be a good thing.
You know, when I spoke with you on the phone, and I'm going to keep it 100 because I mentioned this prior to even coming to see you. I was filming a little intro to this. You know, you asked me if there was anybody that I knew, any type of a way that we could help these women who are locked up. And I said, you know, Shannon, you know, what could we even honestly do? Even if we were able to get in contact with anybody and we had a way to get in contact with the head of DOC, Harold Clark, or whatever his name is, what would it do? And then I think to myself, well, what would he do? Make 1 million phone calls. You know, that could be something that could happen. Get a lot of people interested in calling their local DOCs, because we're talking about what's taking place in Virginia.
Right, and that's just one prison. So, I mean, I don't know what's going on in the other prisons, but I'm sure it's probably comparable.
Absolutely. And I mentioned this to you not to be negative about the situation, because I wish that there was something that we could do. And I wish that there was a way to make this, you know, better for these people. What do you think? Do you have any opinion on what you think should be done, a better way to handle this situation?
I mean, I'm trying everything I can from the outside. If anybody has any contacts that's watching, please let us know. But, I mean, I've been writing. I haven't called. Not very good at making phone calls, but I've definitely been writing and trying to do something about it. I've told them, you know, that my idea was get together and everybody start writing grievances, because at least it'll be a paper trail where they're not getting wrecked, where they're not getting fed, where they're not getting out to use the bathroom, because if everybody's saying it and it's on paper, then perhaps they'll do something about it. But I can't imagine. I can't even imagine going through this in there.
And you know, I think about it like this. Okay, you're on lockdown. You already know you're not going to get wrecked. You're barely going to get showers. But the way that they're feeding them in there is absolutely inhumane. And then the bathroom situation on top of that. Those two things right there, those are horrible.
Yeah. So if you can't get out to use the bathroom, can you imagine how long it takes to get out to go to the water fountain? I mean, if they even let you out, because some of these COs, they're just jerks.
Well, you had said that when these women reach out to you, you try to give them some sort of advice. And one thing that you're saying is, you know, write that paperwork, write these situations down on grievances, which is your inmate complaints, and have that paper trail. Yeah. You mentioned that there was a lawsuit in the past. I think there's lawsuits taking place right now because of this.
Too. What I had read on one of the things is that there is an attorney, I think the attorney's name is Harding, is now starting to represent like 21 different people, 12 of which are in between Savannah and Virginia Correctional Center for Women. Now, I don't know the whole story behind that or exactly what she's trying to represent or which things she's fighting, but I mean, at least somebody's listening.
And this Virginia Correctional Center for Women, is it a work center? Like, explain what type of a prison we're dealing with.
It's like medium security.
So these women probably still have years left to serve. Some of them probably got...
Yeah, there's some people there with life sentences and stuff like that. So
getting released is probably definitely out of the question.
Right. I mean, I'm sure that they have a lot of people who could be released, especially people who are already in reentry, the people who already have a home plan. If you're not violent, I mean, there's a lot of people they could be letting go at this point just to keep them safe. But they're really just not doing anything to help these people. Well,
Shannon, this is something that you're very passionate about, something that you feel strongly about, as you should. A place that you serve time, a place where friends of yours are still serving time at. You know, I don't want to make this super long, I wanted to be able to address this situation and give you the platform to be able to do so. You know, what is your hope that could happen, would happen, should happen from sharing this with everybody?
Okay, I mean, if you have time, write an email to DOC, your local DOC. It doesn't even have to be this one, because these people really need to have access to the bathrooms, to the showers, to be outside of their cells for a little while. Just, if you have any ideas, let me know, because I'm out of ideas. I don't know what else to do.
Well, you know, I appreciate your passion for this. This is awesome to see. You know, most of the time when we do videos with you, Shannon, it's either we're going and doing an update with you, we're bringing some mail to you. Oh, I got a package for you too downstairs. I gotta bring that up here. Doing some mail time, getting an update with you. But now we see this, you know, this fire lit up underneath your ass, proverbially, where you want to do something, and you kind of probably feel, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but you probably kind of feel helpless in this situation.
Absolutely. And I can't even imagine how they feel. So, I mean, I sit here and go back and forth between my schoolwork and try to find somebody else to write. So I'm like going back and forth, you know? I'm
honored to not only have you as a part of After Prison Show, but to see this advocacy that you're taking on. And I think that this could be, I see a lot more of this happening with you as well, Shannon. You're a person who's been through it. You're a role model to a lot of people, men and women. You're a person who has gotten out and done what you need to do after a lot of mistakes that you've made. And now you're in a position where you're able to, if not help, but at least try to raise awareness for what the hell is going on in these prisons.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that's the main thing, is to try to get, you know, just awareness going, because it's what they do in there is awful. So,
well, I appreciate you sharing this with us. Like Shannon said, if anybody's interested in trying to help in any type of a way, take 5 minutes and write a letter to your local DOC, Virginia DOC, any Department of Corrections, and just say, hey, you know, I hope you guys are really paying mind to what's going on up inside these prisons, because these are people too. Yep. And no matter what the situation is, they definitely deserve humaneness.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, Shannon, thank you for sharing this. I'd shake your hand, but we're 10 feet apart at this point. Let me go get this package for you, okay, and we'll wrap this up.
Okay.
So Shannon was just talking about how nervous she is on camera. So I figured I'd
all the time.
All right, Shannon, look, I just did mail. You got one package right here. I have no idea what it is, but I wanted to make sure that you got this.
You know, sometimes packages scare me.
Oh yeah, we brought you some interesting gifts, to say the least.
Oh yeah. See if I can even get into this one.
I believe that's from, does it say on the top? Cynthia.
Aw, it's a little journal and a pen.
Maybe that can help you with your schoolwork or
yeah, absolutely,
writing notes.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. It's so cute. It's got hearts, and it's pink and red and white and silver.
Oh yeah, that's super, super girly. Heck yeah. Well, Shannon, look, I don't want to keep you super long. I appreciate this passion you got for this advocacy, and hopefully, you know, something will happen.
I hope so.
I mean, maybe at least just get a response and just say, hey, you know, we get it.
Yeah, absolutely. I hope somebody watches this, or it gets to somebody in DOC, or, you know, somebody that can make a difference.
They need some damn toilets in there. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And they need to be getting fed right, because it damn sure don't sound like they are.
Yeah, no.
Well, I appreciate your time, Shannon. We'll go ahead and wrap this up. I'm not going to ask you for anything prolific at the end of this. You've already said enough. You know, tell them girls that you're doing what you can. You're getting awareness and attention to what's going on up in there. And hopefully sooner than later, things will just get back to damn normal. Yeah. Because I think that that's really the best that we can hope for at this point.
Right. I mean, for everybody, though, not even just people in prison, but for us, too. I mean, look at poor Rabbit.
And look at you. You're not working that much.
No, barely. Like 3, maybe 4 days a week, and sometimes for like 2 hours at a time, so.
Well, I'm super proud of you. You got your laptop and your schoolwork over there. You're handling what you need to do, as always. And Shannon, as always, it's a pleasure to see you. And I look forward to talking with you again real soon.
Okay.
All right, that's it.